I'd say mostly because of quarantine, there's this sort of glow up trend with mostly girls but guys alike, so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about it. First of all, the term glow up is derived from the term grow up, which is like maturing but in a positive way. The term glow up is usually used when you're referring to physical appearance. Obviously you can have an emotional glow up too, but in the way it's usually used, it's referring to physical appearance. The hashtag glow up has apparently 4 million search results on Instagram and 14.7 billion views on TikTok, that same hashtag, so I guess it really became a trend on social media. Glowing up is a whole process. On the internet, it seems to be very dependent on a very specific result, usually regarding like fat loss or muscle gain. Okay, my aim, and other stuff like that. But when you officially kind of glow up, it's usually saying that someone's reached the pinnacle of self-improvement and beauty in that manner. The kind of concept of glowing up is celebrating someone's personal growth, and in that manner, I think it can be a really good thing, but there is also a lot of bad that can come from this term. The criticism of glowing up, there's just a lot of it. I think in a way it could possibly encourage eating disorders or unhealthy habits. I read an article on this. Adele apparently posted a photo where there is apparent weight loss, and a lot of people commented on it how she had a glow up. However, that got a lot of people criticizing the term as it may kind of encourage people to lose weight by saying being skinny is good, and I think sometimes that results in eating disorders. And also in this kind of example, it's normalizing commenting on a person's body without their consent, which a lot of people were upset about because it had a kind of resemblance to catcalling. However, in my opinion, if you post a picture of yourself on the internet, you should expect someone commenting on how you look, but that's just my opinion. But I think on the internet in general, okay, I just threw my pearl there, glowing up has become an obsession, really. Okay, people are trying to improve themselves kind of superficially, especially because of quarantine, and in unhealthy ways, while they should really be focusing on keeping themselves safe, because it's a pandemic. I don't know. With everyone trying out like different workouts and diets and stuff, it's kind of perpetuating the narrative that if you haven't had some sort of amazing transformation, you're a failure, which is really toxic and untrue. People shouldn't feel obligated to try and glow up so they can fit in with society. I keep choking this is so embarrassing. Oh, there goes my bed. Unfortunate. There's just a lot of pressure to always be improving their appearance instead of trying to keep themselves safe and happy. It's kind of messed up how our culture organizes a hierarchy of appearances to seem quote-unquote worthy of being considered a glow-up, and man, it's just not cool. Like, say you worked really hard on your appearance but you still aren't to society's quote-unquote standards of beauty. That makes someone feel really awful. There's also this term called like silently toxic, which it's kind of when you celebrate another person's growth by, say, making comments on the person's image. In my opinion, our transformations are ours. Other people shouldn't be validating how much improvement you've made. And to be honest, we're all already enough as we are, so we shouldn't have to have a glow up. I guess just the term glow up in general is kind of indicating that a lot of people are not already enough. I think a lot of people want to teach youth that they're already enough as they are. They want to teach youth to love themselves, and the term glow up is kind of setting people in the opposite direction. At least that's what I've heard. And like, I kind of touched on this a bit earlier, but a lot of people are trying really dangerous diets and over exercising, and it's become obsessive, the kind of desire to glow up. Sometimes people give themselves no break, which is just really bad. Like, instead of healthily losing weight or quote unquote glowing up, they're trying to lose weight as fast as possible, as skinny is society's standard of beauty for the most part. Actually, kinda. Our standard of beauty is changing a bit, but that was the expectation usually. Like, to be fit, for example, getting a six-pack, you have to kind of lose the weight in your stomach, because to get a six-pack, it's kind of the ab muscles that show through your stomach skin. Sometimes it requires you to lose the fat in your stomach. That's usually achieved through really unhealthy diets, and I don't think it should be encouraged on youth. Okay, Chi-Chi. Also, some of the workouts that people are doing are really intense, and without a professional, I think it's really easy to injure themselves, as people often exercise kind of sloppily and with poor form in general, and they also over-exercise, which can be really bad for your body. So, but I don't know, I think just overall with the whole glow up thing, the standards of how you should look are becoming kind of unrealistic, but I guess it's always been that way in a way. What is this guy doing? Okay. And apparently, looking at fitness social media accounts can become kind of obsessive and demotivating for a lot of people, and kind of toxic in a way, so that's just not good. Like, I think in a lot of scenarios it might be encouragement, but I know for a lot of people, seeing other people having more success than you can be just really demotivating. To kind of look away from the bad things that come up from this whole glowing up trend, there's actually a lot of good that comes from it, because obviously it inspires a lot of people to be healthier, whether it's through exercising and diets, and just that kind of exercising and eating healthier really helps you sleep better and keeps your blood flowing and just makes you a more energized and healthy person in general. And apparently, if you have a quote-unquote glow up, a lot of people will feel more confident in themselves, and that's usually something people look for, so that's good. Because people are usually happier overall if they don't experience the negative effects of it, I guess. I think a lot of people, because of this trend, are kind of taking more control of their life and their body, because they want to see themselves transform and meet the goals they've set through hard work and determination. So in a way, they're kind of developing a good work ethic, or just are developing the idea that to get something, sometimes you gotta work hard for it, and that's just a mindset through life that people need and not a lot of people know. And like, plus glowing up doesn't always have to be physical. It could be, for example, cutting off a toxic relationship, and having self-improvement in that manner and kind of standing up for yourself is always pretty good, so I guess that's good. I thought it'd be kind of appropriate if I talked about my personal experience with wanting to glow up. I didn't even know this was really a trend, but looking back on the past couple months or past year, I've definitely wanted the whole idea of a glow up to happen to me. So yeah, just because of quarantine, I've wanted to glow up, even though in my life I've never really cared about how I looked, but for some reason I started to really try to change my appearance. For some backstory, I used to be a gymnast, and I spent a lot of time just exercising, so I was pretty in shape and pretty happy with how I looked, to be honest. But in gymnastics, they kind of told us not to eat a ton of junk food, so I didn't, even though that was always kind of a craving of mine. So when I did quit gymnastics, I was like, man, I can eat whatever I want now. So I ate kind of a lot unhealthier for a bit, and obviously that resulted in weight gain. Like, over the next year or so, I lost all of my muscles and abs everywhere, basically, because I had been so sick of working out because of how intense gymnastics was that I didn't want to work out anymore, okay? I didn't feel the need or have the motivation to work out. I'd never been overweight in my life, and that meant I didn't expect myself to gain weight, which is really bad. I should have expected it, and if I did, I probably would have taken care of myself more. But just after I quit gymnastics, I went from practicing in the gym 20 hours a week to doing almost no exercise, and it was starting to show. Like, I could see the growing fat on, say, my stomach and face, and it did not feel good, but I didn't really do anything about it because I was just too lazy. No gymnastics felt great because I finally had a break from the never-ending working out and taking care of my body so I could flip in the air or whatnot. But when quarantine started, I became so aware of how ugly of a person I was, or at least how ugly of a person I felt. And to be honest, in the beginning, it resulted in me doing absolutely nothing. At this point in my life, all I was doing was school and Minecraft. I wasn't ever hungry because I wasn't active whatsoever. So my meal plan was basically me eating lunch, throughout the afternoon snacking on those little pistachio things and those cutie oranges, and then I'd eat like a small dinner because I'd snacked on the little foods and I was never hungry. And I don't know if that was healthy or not, but for the first couple months of quarantine, even though I didn't work out at all, I stayed the exact same weight. To this day, I believe that that's because I was losing more muscle, the little muscle I had left, and was gaining a little bit of fat, or a fair amount of fat, so it kind of balanced each other out. At some point during quarantine, I went outside to play golf because that's a sport I play sometimes, and I realized that I'd become really weak. Like, I could barely swing the golf club, and I got tired really easily and really fast. So I kind of wanted to exercise a bit so I could gain back some muscle. So I did start exercising, and I did start to gain back a bit of my energy and spark. But at the same time, I started gaining weight because I started gaining muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. I was aware of how this worked just because I'd done gymnastics, but for some reason I thought the solution to me gaining weight would be to just work out more. I also started working out because I was really insecure about all the fat on my body and my face. So at one point I was spending like several hours a day just doing sit-ups or those at-home workout things, and I was just spending so much time tiring myself out and in a way wasting a lot of time because I don't think those workouts did a whole ton for my body. At some point I started to eat less, kind of. When I was younger, I would always eat until I was stuffed because I always could. I never really gained a ton of weight because of that, or a ton of fat because of that. But I started to eat not until I was stuffed, but just until I wasn't really hungry, so that maybe I wouldn't gain weight still. Don't have an eating disorder, and I wasn't starving myself, but it kind of just showed how aware I'd become of what I was eating, because before I didn't really care at all. Like, I ate kind of healthy. I tried to eat mostly fruit, and I honestly didn't hate it because I love fruit, but like, I still eat a crap ton of food and not much junk food to this day because it's just become my habit, and in a way eating junk food makes me feel guilty and gross and fat, even though it really shouldn't make me feel that way. I think at some point I'd even started watching videos on how to get like a thinner face and smaller nose, and it's just really unhealthy, my obsession with wanting to change my appearance. And at some point I got bored of doing those at-home workouts because I realized that you can't really drastically change your appearance, at least the way I wanted to, so I kind of gave up and just did my own thing. I'm just trying to exercise so I can stay in shape and stay healthy. But yeah, I never really glowed up, but I really tried hard to. That's all I had to say. It's kind of weird. I'm sorry if I come off as having a lot of issues after this video. I wouldn't be surprised if I did give off that vibe now. People can judge me. I don't really care too much. But I think a lot of my insecurities about how I look, that's also why I wouldn't want a face reveal, which I probably should have mentioned more clearly in my fears of face revealing video, but oh well. You know, the weirdest part about all of this is that my parents watch my videos, and they're hearing about this probably for the first time, so oh, I'm getting destroyed. Okay. Okay, from a mining fatigue trap. Blocked off with Obby. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.